Hi everyone, I'm Barry Stagner, and this is his channel Newsbreak. Vladimir Putin may have pledged to deepen military ties with Iran amid the growing relations with counterpart Hassan Rouhani, but two strategy experts say the alliance is not quite as strong as it seems to be on the surface. Russia and Iran have confirmed plans to carry out vast joint military drills near the Strait of Hormuz, a move that indicated increasing ties between the two nations. The two have also been cooperating in the Syrian civil war as they look to prop up the government of Bashar al-Assad with a shared anti-Washington ideology. It appears that the two have formed the basis of a long-term alliance against the U.S. This relationship is formed, that is. However, a strategist has claimed that Russia is actually utilizing one of Iran's sworn enemies, that being Israel, to limit Tehran's regional role. Dr. Alan Mendoza, founder of the Henry Jackson Society, suggested that although the two nations appear to have become military allies in Syria, Russia has actually been playing a rather different game. Their forces, along with the Iranians, are the reason Assad has stayed in business, but relations are not formalized. You don't have them sitting down and agreeing on individual targets or an overall approach to the situation. Each country is operating in its own interest. There is clear evidence that when their interests clash, they will, of course, put their national interest above any alliance interest. When the Israelis have repeatedly struck Iranian targets in Syria, even though that has potentially weakened Russia's interest in Syria, they have allowed Israel to do it because it fits in with their perception of keeping Iran under control. Analysts last week suggested that the military alliance between Russia, Iran, Syria, and Iraq, the Houthi rebels, and Hezbollah form the foundation of a new Cold War in the Middle East. They are up against a coalition of U.S. allies such as Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the Syrian rebels. An official politic agreement was struck in 2015 between Moscow and Tehran to coordinate their actions against militants in Syria. However, Dr. Mendoza claimed that the agreement is a shallow one and that Russia would not defend Iran unless it was in their own interest. He added, for now, it just so happens that the two sides have a common interest in keeping Assad in power, and there is a different common interest in the Russians complaining about American actions around Iran. If the Syrian conflict comes to an end, you will see even less of a joint approach between the two countries. International relations expert Dr. Paul Stott suggested that the Kremlin is gradually starting to push Iran out of the Syrian civil war equation for their own sake, saying, I believe, though, that the Russians have been putting pressure on some of the Iranians to begin to leave Damascus, and some of the fighters have started to leave Syria already. In the medium term, Russia doesn't want to see Iran permanently maintain the influence it's had in Syria, and the Iranians are sending religious missionaries and people from Shia organizations to Damascus in great numbers. It's a tactic to try and maintain that influence through the back door. And last week, Russia offered to help calm tensions between the U.S. and Iran, according to a former Pentagon official. Well, we do know that these two nations play a significant role in the future invasion of Israel from the northern border, which would include Syria, Turkey, joining them as well as Libya and Sudan, completing the packaged coalition of invading nations. And these two give us today's reminder to keep looking up.